Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Delta is leaving the Airlines for America Association, Sikorsky CH-53K helicopter makes its first flight, Huerta to speak at the Redbird migration next week. I'm Bree Cross. It's October 30th, 2015, and this is Airborne Unlimited. Airlines for America, known as A4A, has announced a pending membership change as Delta Airlines stated its intent to leave the association effective April 26, 2016. A4A President and CEO Nicholas Kallio said the move by Delta was not unexpected, as the carrier has not been aligned with other A4A members on a few key industry positions, including the need to modernize and improve the nation's air traffic control system. Kallio said, quote, "As an association, we work collaboratively in the best interest of our members and the customers and communities they serve, and are most effective advocating for the traveling and shipping public when we speak with a unified industry voice," end quote. Kallio said the pending change will not distract A4A and its members from the continuing work of fighting higher taxes and unnecessary regulations while pushing for updated infrastructure, along with the vast array of technical and regulatory issues that A4A's councils and committees regularly address. Kallio also thanked Delta CEO Richard Anderson for his work as chairman of the A4A board. Anderson most recently served as chairman for the first 2 years of Kallio's tenure at A4A. The CH-53K King Stallion heavy lift helicopter prototype, being developed by Sikorsky for the U.S. Marine Corps, achieved its first flight earlier this week. The 30-minute flight signals the beginning of a 2,000-hour flight test program using 4 test aircraft. Sikorsky delivered the prototype into the test program at the company's West Palm Beach, Florida-based Development Flight Center in late 2014. During its 30-minute maiden flight, the aircraft performed hover, sideward, rearward, and forward flight control inputs while in ground effect hover up to 30 feet above the ground. As the flight test program proceeds, this aircraft will be joined by an additional 3 aircraft to fully expand the King Stallion's flight envelope over the course of the 3-year flight test program. The Department of Defense's program of record remains at 200 CH-53K aircraft with an initial operational capability in 2019. After the break, the FAA administrator joins the Redbird migration.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, Navcom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to bendixking.com.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
AML's patent-pending wireless induction charging system eliminates confusion over those charging cables, cuts down cockpit cable clutter, and allows you and your passengers to fly cordless and eliminate the cable nightmare. www.aviationmodificationleaders.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. As the 2015 Redbird migration is getting ready to start next week, Redbird Flight announced that Michael Huerta, the administrator of the FAA, will join the year's largest gathering of industry professionals at the Migration Flight Training Conference on Wednesday, November 4th at Redbird Skyport in San Marcos, Texas. Huerta will be presenting the keynote address at the conference and cover topics important to the industry, including changes to regulatory policies and the impact of advancing aviation technology. Now in its 5th year, the Migration Flight Training Conference has become the yearly focal point for the best flight schools and universities to discuss innovative instructional techniques, newly developing technologies, and successful marketing strategies. Included among this year's conference topics are direct-to-customer marketing strategies, flight analytics, and the Imagine Flight Affiliate Network. The Redbird Migration Conference is open to all flight training organizations worldwide by visiting their website and requesting an invitation. It's Friday, and that means that it's time for ANN CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell to check in with his weekly Barnstorming commentary. This week, Jim gives us an update on the Let Bob Fly project as it continues to build ahead of steam. Here's this week's Barnstorming.
Thanks, Bree. Hi, folks. Well, to make a long story short, we're getting a lot of questions about the Bob Hoover project. And let's face it, Bob is a guy who has been the subject of many a tale, quite a few documentaries, quite a few videos, more than a few books, one that I wrote. And to make a long story short, what makes this project so different is this is the one that Bob asked for. About a year ago, Bob took me aside when I was introducing my wife to him and basically told me we had work to do, that the things that we'd done in the past were unfinished, and that he felt an obligation to make sure that the battle he fought and won would allow everybody to enjoy the benefits that he had as a result of finally winning against the FAA. And the fact of the matter is, he knew that the situation basically hadn't changed. He knew that pilots out there were still being victimized by a process and a system that does not allow for the proper constitutional procedures we would afford any common criminal. And the interesting thing is, all we're really asking for is to be treated like, well, criminals. Guy caught in a street corner with a load of wacky weed has more rights than a guy with an out-of-date chart, or whose glucose levels are a little off the scale, or whatever the case may be. It's time for a big change. So let me explain what Let Bob Fly really is. It is a documentary. It spends a fair amount of time, a half or more, talking about what happened to Bob between 1992 and 1995. It also looks at the opportunities we missed and lost when we did not continue the battle to win the war. And most important, it talks about the things that need to be done from here on out to restore to aviation rights that are common to virtually any citizen of the country, so long as they're not a pilot. So to make an exceedingly long story short, it's got a lot of layers to it. It's critically important, and it's one of about a dozen major steps we think could really revitalize aviation. Aviation will not be saved by any one thing, and certainly not by a documentary project, no matter how profound or how well-meaning it may be. But it's one of the little things that we can do to create a series of evolutionary changes that will create the cascade effect to create disruption, to create innovation, to create revolution, and to save aviation for all the kids will be on tomorrow's airport fences. That's what Bob's all about. He doesn't need a job. He doesn't need a project. He's 93 years old. He has the right to sit back and enjoy the plaudits that his life is getting for a life well lived. But he feels like if he doesn't do this, he's going to let us all down. Not going to happen. He's given us the responsibility to make sure that it doesn't. And I promise you in no uncertain terms, of all the things we will or will not do, we will not let Bob down. And we will not let you down as a result. For more information, look at www.letbobfly.net, as well as the Facebook pages, the Twitter feeds, and so forth that are listed here. Thanks much, and next week we'll talk to you a little bit about how you can be a part of the Let Bob Fly movement. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne, and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell, friend of Bob's. Pretty cool thing to be.
After these messages, EAA's 2016 Sweepstakes Grand Prize is a Warbird.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B, ATX-100, and ATX-100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. The EAA Sweepstakes Grand Prize for 2016 is a Warbird. They have chosen a Piper L4J liaison airplane that actually saw action in World War II. The L4 was the military version of the Piper J3 Cub. There's been a change in management at GE Capital Aviation Services, as Alex Berger has been named its president and CEO. Berger will assume the executive management of the business effective January 1st, 2016. Berger is a 25-year veteran at GE. A seaplane landing on the Pacific Ocean at Hermosa Beach so the pilot and passenger could get a cup of coffee set off a panic. The normal landing was described by some onlookers as an airplane crash, and emergency services were scrambled. All turned out well. We all need our Starbucks. The pilot of an FA-18E Super Hornet catches a break after he made a low pass over the Berkeley campus in California back in January. The Navy said the pilot complied with all FAA and Navy rules and regulations. One Aviation has designated the Jingong General Aviation Company as the exclusive distributor for the Eclipse jet in China. Jingong General Aviation will offer one-stop sales, training, and service for the Eclipse 550 twin-engine jet. Well, that's our trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. According to a story on Discovery.com, the Kepler Space Observatory has picked up an unusual observation from a star located 1,500 light-years away. It appears that Kepler detected a slight dimming of the starlight, and this has led to questions of alien life in our universe and how it can have an effect on us. According to reports, this strange Kepler sighting is most likely due to a natural phenomenon, or is it? It was explained that it could be an exoplanet, exocomet, or possibly something else. Possibly a megastructure created by aliens passing in front of the star, causing the Kepler sensors to see it as a dimming of the starlight. It's clear that planet hunters consider this phenomenon bizarre, and it was unusual that Kepler happened to be aimed in that position at exactly the right time to observe it. Scientists continue to research what could be causing this phenomena. It's reported that the SETI Allen telescope array was taken off its normal survey schedule and has focused on the star to research the phenomena observed by Kepler. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource. Have a wonderful Halloween. We will see you on Monday.